Welcome back. You are watching News Center. What is the future of Indo-US trade talks? How will India and the United States cooperate in the Indo Pacific economic framework? To answer all these questions and much more, we caught up with USIBC President Atul Keshap. Listen in.
And I think it's entirely important that the United States and India, as two countries that benefit from a high-trust ecosystem, build that high-trust ecosystem. In the op-ed that's in the Hindustan Times today, I argued that the need is urgent, that we ought to figure out what the rules of the road are for the digital economy of the 21st century. Our companies dominate the digital economy. There's going to be enormous growth in what America and India do together, and I believe that we can build a framework for human freedom that preserves data privacy, that ensures economic growth, that allows for startups and for innovation to thrive. I think we should do that. And if we do that right, we're going to hit our $500 billion target for trade in goods and services.
Right. Some of the market access issues that U.S. companies face in India, would you like to list them out for us? Key barriers to trade which should be addressed?
So I think this is where we have to have a respectful conversation in both directions and be constructive about what can be achieved. I think a lot of people in the United States, American companies, American investors, American people, have enormous faith in India's rise through the entire 21st century. India is going to grow and grow and grow. It could become a $30 trillion economy. And so getting the rules and standards right is really important. If we can create a high-trust data corridor between the United States and India, it is going to unlock and unleash so much innovation and potential and growth. So we can certainly focus on the issues. There are issues in both directions. Ours are two pluralistic and messy democracies. They have many, many constituencies. But I think as friends, we can work through a lot.
I'd also like to ask you about the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. The Commerce Minister, Piyush Goyal, is traveling to the United States right now, and this would be a key agenda item. How do you see this moving forward? Does USIBC have a blueprint for the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework?
So my view on this is that for the first time in the Indo-Pacific, the United States and India find themselves in the same strategic and economic baskets, the Quad on one hand and the IPEF, Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, on the other. The Indo-Pacific Economic Framework is embryonic. You know, our governments have made a conscious decision that they want to talk to each other and be together with other like-mindeds to build the future of trade and investment and commerce in the Indo-Pacific. So my shloka, if you will, is that from tiny acorns, mighty oak trees can grow. And I think that as long as our two governments look at it in a collaborative and cooperative way, we can build that high-trust ecosystem.
Speaking about the 5G rollout in India, it's all set to begin now. Do you see this as a potential area of cooperation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First of all,
what is the level of interest?
Yeah, Parikshit, first of all, it's a very impressive achievement by India, building out the 5G stack. As impressive as the UPI stack, that is really quite remarkable to see. I think our technology companies, our IT companies, our fintech companies, our digital companies are fascinated by all of the innovations and changes that are happening in India. 5G is, of course, extraordinarily sensitive technology because it involves a lot of data privacy. I think free countries need to work together to ensure that privacy is ensured and that technology offers the most choices to consumers, and that, frankly, we know who has custody of that data.
Also, to speak to you about the startup story in India, we're looking at large-scale layoffs, a slowdown in investments into the startup ecosystem, and companies delaying their IPO plans. So how does USIBC see the India startup story?
We've had very good conversations with the entire Indian policy infrastructure on this. So keeping that going is very important. It has a great impact on American companies as well who want to work with them. And I think that's where GDP grows, right? We want to see India be a 10 and 20 and $30 trillion economy. Startups are how you're going to do it. What we'd like to do is to be able to invest more easily in them, to be able to list them or delist them, as case may be, to help scale them and improve them. I think they would appreciate investor money coming in. And of course, critically keeping the regulatory ecosystem and structure such that they can continue to thrive.
Right. There have been concerns among US companies on the regulation of big tech companies in India. The parliamentary committee is also looking at it, something that the government is also looking at it at the highest level, on how to regulate the flow of data, use of data, the kind of fees which are charged by some of these big tech companies. Also, the treatment to companies like Walmart and Amazon. Google, for example. So how do you see this, and how does this come up in the conversation with the Indian government?
I think my appeal would be that we should not view each other as adversaries. American companies are respectful, they're ethical, they bring the absolute highest standards of managerial and technological excellence. They are the catalyst for quicker growth in any ecosystem where they go, in any economy where they go. I think they can be a catalyst of India's growth to 10 and 20 and 30 trillion dollars. So let's see how we can work together, not as adversaries, but as friends. Already when you look at your companies and our companies, they're hiring across the geographies for innovation that is seamless in both time zones. That's the future.